Now, depending on when you're watching this video, this beta may not be out yet. Correction, BandLab has a sampler now. That was filmed last week when I was testing the beta. It's about time. BandLab's got a sampler. I've been playing with the beta, but it's officially released. BandLab 10 just got announced yesterday. New logo, little, tweaks, little design, little updates, things like that. But the sampler is by far the most exciting thing to me. So I'm going to show you how to use it so you can make more music. Let's do this. EUMONIK, music maker, creator, peace to those that know the name. Boom, there it is, new logo. Look at that, look at that. Make music with any sound, and it's really that easy. Like it says here, tap and hold a pad to start recording. So let's make a simple beat very quickly. The album drops tomorrow. What do you think? There's a good amount of features that have been updated in BandLab 10 that make it easier to make music, and that really is the focus for all of BandLab, but specifically with this update. And the biggest one, like I mentioned, and the focus of this video obviously is the sampler. So it's an additional track type. So when you start a new project or when you add a new track, you'll see sampler and a little note next to it, new, because that's the new thing, that's the new track. Let's do a different one right here. Once the sampler track is added to a new project, you have options on how to add samples, import samples, or browse samples to a 4x4 grid of 16 pads. 4 times 4 equals 16. Now, I already added a few samples, and you can see that they're color-coded. So you can do stuff like this. Once a sampler is added to a track, you can easily tap on a pad and record a sound like this. Boop. Or you can take a little bit more time and tap on the pencil, which is where we get all the options that I want to talk to you about. Now at the bottom, you'll see import audio or video and browse. So that means there's 3 different ways that you can add samples to one of the 16 sample pads. Like I already showed you, you can tap and hold and record something. Nice. Nice. When you're in the pencil mode, to delete any of the samples, you just tap on that pad. Nice. And then hit the little red trash icon down at the bottom. Now the other 2 options are pretty easy as well. If you have audio or even video on your phone, it would of course extract the audio from that video and then add it to any of the sample pads. I'm not sure what audio I have on this device. There's got to be something I can use. Here's a guitar sound. I don't think I'm going to use that, but that goes to show that any samples that you have in here, so if you download like a cool drum pack or a sample pack from the internet, you can also add your own sounds. So whatever sounds you have stored on your device, you can easily add those to one of the 16 pads. Now the other option, tapping the pencil once again, is to browse the extensive and ever-growing library of BandLab Sounds, which I've already done for a few of these. And for the first time, or once again, I am glad that you are here. I am Eumonic, music maker and creator. All the links down below help support my journey in some capacity, and all of that is greatly appreciated. So check out all the things down below. If you have any questions, drop a comment if you have something to say, or if I missed something, and hit the like for me. And if you feel like sticking around, please do so. You're more than welcome. Let's continue on. You can search sounds, which makes it easy, but you can also scroll all the way over, and there's categories for genre, instrument, and also different keys. So I grabbed a few in G major. We have a kick that I imported from BandLab Sounds, a snare, a hi-hat, closed hi-hat, and an open hi-hat that I just recorded with my mouth. And then I have a sound effect and then 3 chord pluck stabs. Nice. Now let's get into some of the sample editing details. Going back into the pencil, when you tap on any of the pads, let's say the snare, there are 3 knobs: volume, pan, and pitch. So for the snare, which was me just going and recording it onto a pad, I pitched it down a little bit, and I also turned it up because it was a little quiet. Sounds good. Also, while we're here, to duplicate a pad, you simply tap on it and then drag it to a new pad, and it'll be duplicated. I'm going to delete that one for now. Pretty simple. You tap on the pencil, tap on a pad, and then you have volume, pan, and pitch. And then to get into more detailed sample editing capabilities, you tap on edit with the little sliders next to it down at the bottom right. Now in this menu, it's laid out really easy, and I'm just gonna go from top to bottom. So you have color options. In my little track here, or my sampler, I have my drums as blue. So I'm gonna keep this one, because it is a hi-hat, as blue. And then right next to that, this is really important for you beat makers out there, or anybody that just wants to use a sampler as they have known it previously, and it's grouping. Sometimes it's called mute groups, but this will only allow one sound to play. And I think a hi-hat, open and closed hi-hat, is one of the best examples. So this is the hi-hat, and I have it in group 1. And this is the closed hi-hat sound. Now if I go into the open hi-hat sound, which is just me going tss, and then pitched up a bit, you'll see it is also in group 1. So what that allows you to do is this will act more like an actual hi-hat. The closed hi-hat sound to stop the open hi-hat sound, so you don't have both playing at the same time. Or let's say if you had these long chord strums on a guitar and you only wanted it to play one of those so they don't start to overlap, you use groups. And going back into the sample editing page, there are 4 groups that you can choose from. So I'm just using group 1 for the closed hi-hat and the open hi-hat. Pretty simple. Moving down, you have start and end points on the sample, which can easily be edited by simply tapping and dragging the start and end point to whatever position you want to. Under that, you have 3 buttons: normalize, crop, and reverse. Normalize is just going to take the loudest part of that sample and make it as loud as it can be. So this is good for things like drums, I think. You don't want to normalize everything because then it's just too loud, but it's nice to just simply tap that and it'll be as loud as it can be without it peaking or sounding distorted. Normalize would make the volume very loud. I don't want to do that. I want to undo that. Up at the top, boom, undone. Undone. Crop is going to commit any changes that you've made to the start and stop points. So if I want to take off the tail of this open hi-hat, I can crop it, and as you'll see, it commits those changes, and now that is the sample. It cuts off any of the leftovers that you've dragged away from using the start and stop. Then reverse is pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to reverse the sample. Let's hear how that sounds. Below that, you have the envelope, just 2 sliders, attack and release, so you can change how fast or slow the attack of the sample is going to come in, and also the release. The release right now is grayed out because I have it on 1 shot, which I'm going to explain in just a moment after we talk about the next slider, which is tone, and it's simply a high pass and low pass filter. So it's just going to filter out the low frequencies or the high frequencies depending if you go left or right. So this would make it darker, so to speak, as you can hardly hear it now. And then if you go up, it's a high pass filter, so it's going to filter out the low frequencies, which would be good for an open hi-hat. So I guess we'll slide it up to the right. And then down at the bottom, you have trigger options, and there are 3 trigger options. You have gate, 1 shot, and loop. For samples like drums, I like to use a 1 shot because you tap it once and it just plays the sample. With gate, which is the default mode, this kind of stuff happens. Meaning the sample's only going to trigger when your finger is on the pad. The moment that you let go of it, the sound is going to stop sounding. And then loop when you tap the sample, it'll just play the sample through. I'm gonna leave this hi-hat on one shot. You can do all kinds of stuff though. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you could use an instrument as well, or you could walk around your house and get random sound effects. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's actually try and make a beat with this. Turn on my metronome. I'm not even gonna change the BPM, let's just roll with it. Okay, now that I got some banjo recorded, I'm gonna add just a simple something else with like a synthesizer sound. I'm not really sure. Let's take a look at the MIDI instruments. But I guess the point in all of this is that I started really simple, but in that it gave me a feeling, a spark of creativity, which is how I think all good things start, with something, a message. You feel something. That freedom pulls something out of you, because you're not worried about the outcome, you're just enjoying the moment. You're thankful that you figured something out, and then you keep doing that and you follow that, and it turns into something. If I had something like this when I was in high school, I wouldn't have paid, I think, like $400 or $500 for my first drum machine. I would have just started making music. And I hope this inspires you, encourages you, and helps you do just that. Make more music. Peace. Make more music. Peace. Peace.